You've burned through all your podcasts. There's nothing else to listen to. Boredom is coming, and you still have the whole afternoon left at work to get through. How are you going to get through this? Well, maybe you end up quitting your job, you can't afford your rent, and before you know it, you're on the street eating tuna out of a can with Henrietta over by the Piggly Wiggly and pooping against a tree by the Chick-fil-A on the corner. Listen, you could have avoided boredom, you could have kept your job and said peace out to Henrietta and her shitty tuna. If only you subscribed to the AAA Podcast's extra content, we would have carried you through that afternoon all the way to your warm bed with anime on the TV, with our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties. 8 extra exclusive episodes a month just for you for helping out the podcast. So special thank you. If you go over to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon, you can help us out, and we'll help you say peace to Henrietta. And now, time to start the podcast.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at aapodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the AAA podcast. It is our 610th, in fact, so you guys have been here for a while. Are you sure you want to stick around? Well, of course you are, because you're addicted. We're all addicted to anime. And joining me in my addiction, oh yeah, hi, I'm Caroline. And joining me in my addiction is Mason with the hood on. Hey, Mason.
My hood on, I feel like, is just aping off of Mitsugi's style. He looks so good with the hood on, I wanted to join the party. But welcome, everyone, to another outrageous, zany episode. I am still recovering from being just a little bit sick, as I talked about in the Hobby Addicts, so if my voice just gives out halfway through, everyone can rejoice, and you can mark that off on your AAA bingo card. So, besides that, happy to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And Mitsugi, who started this hoodie trend in the first place.
That's right, and I noticed that Caroline pulled her coat up over her head, and you just like Cornholio.
What is that?
I need picata for my bunghole. Just like that. Yeah, that's right.
And
you don't know who
also
Cornholio is?
Another bingo card
No.
knockoff is the
Oh
Mitsugi
my
reference that
God.
Caroline has no idea what we're talking about.
In my head.
That's almost
Yeah.
like a free space at this point,
Oh
but
my
nonetheless.
God. Have you never seen Beavis and Butthead?
No. In
I
fact, whenever I've seen commercials for it, I'm just like, that is the worst show I think I've ever seen.
Wow, it's kind of an
Did you
icon,
hear that?
but...
They're coming out with new stuff.
Oh my God, yes. Please.
It's I think it's like a Paramount Plus exclusive.
Fucking
so
yes.
yikes! But there you go, more B&B.
Unbelievable.
Now, Mitsugi, are you wearing a hood to protect you from the water that is like excreting itself from your walls of your house?
Yes. Blood is coming out of the walls and running down the stairwells, just like in the Amityville Horror. But, no,
Nice.
it's just that, like, this place is kind of still under construction and the heat is off and it is cold outside. So I have the gas fireplace running downstairs, which does put out a lot of heat, but it's not enough to heat this whole place when it's that cold. So I'm freezing to death, and I'm doing it for you. I'm still addicted, but to anime, and that's why I'm here. But really, I'm here because I just feel like I need to share my love with you today, and so that's why I'm here.
Nice.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we let them know where they can find us? We can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/AAA podcast every Sunday, 5 p.m. EST. You can also find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Discord, on TikTok. So many different places to accentuate your addiction and also talk about it with your fellow addictees. So that's going to be great. And you should also keep an eye out on those sources because we will be having voting for the Anime Oscars soon. And those are the places that you can find our link to do so. Make sure to make your voices heard for the Anime of the Year and so on and so forth. Now, we have some pretty good stuff coming up this episode. Do you remember the anime game, which is something that we came up with? Basically, we all went through each other's anime lists, and we picked a few shows from each to try and figure out if people can really remember different anime, because we do watch quite a bit of anime in our time here, but do we remember them is the other question.
I'm a big-time underdog because I am senile, so
yeah,
I have dementia, and I don't recall much of anything. Who are you?
I mean, as we discussed in our Hobby Addicts, Mitsuki thought that arrow was spelled with 2 A's. So that should tell you something.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I think it's because Aaron is spelled with 2 names, and that fucking looks the same. So I don't know. Damn it.
Yeah.
AA Ron.
You blame it on that. AA Row.
AA Row.
And then coming up soon as well, we will be reviewing Remake Our Life, another show from summer 2021, and you can probably guess of its quality just based on that information. So let's get started with big news of the week.
Because it's from summer 2021?
Yeah, because summer 2021 sucked.
Not to hold the show up, but I showed Pancake episode 1 of Initial D because I was like, you must watch Initial D. I'm going to make you watch it because MF Ghost is going to come out. And I was like... And I expected her to hate that anime so badly because it looks like absolute shit. Season 1 of that anime looks horrendous, and she's a lot younger, and she's like, she likes when she doesn't like CG, and she likes when things look good. And to my surprise, she loved Initial D so much that we watched 7 episodes all at once that night because it's just that good.
It's such an easy show to binge.
And it's the cars look like they look beyond dog shit in the first season. I mean, it's shocking that they released that as a product. And then season like 2 or 3 looks a lot better, but whatever. But man, she loves how all the characters in it look different. And and then when she was watching me watch my remake, she was like, all these characters they look all the fucking same.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. And the characters from Initial D, they might be ugly as hell, but they all look different. So
there are different forms of ugly.
Yeah. And I'm going to talk about this in the news break, but Toyota's coming out with a new car. It's really not a new car, but the new model 2022 GR86, which is like the newest of the 86 line from Toyota, and it looks so fucking good. And they've got this like TV commercial with the car from Initial D and then the GR86 racing like an anime style that you have to look up. And I kind of think I'm going to buy that car next. I'll go back. It's a rear wheel drive, so I can't really drive it in Colorado because I'll die. But when I go back to Florida, I might grab that car like a year old. It's only $27,000 brand new, so it's really not that expensive for a brand new car. And I'm like, you can get it a year or two old. You get it a year or two lightly used, and I'm gonna be ripping around like fucking Takumi. Okay.
Yeah, it does look good. I can vouch for it.
It looks fucking good. Yeah.
Anyway,
buy a motorcycle based on anime and buy a car based on anime, and soon you'll have to buy a boat based on anime, and then you'll have the trifecta.
Then you'll have a nice boat.
It's time for big news of the week.
Bum ba bum bum bum. People in Japan are still seeking love. They haven't given up yet, but they're close to giving up because they are now seeking love in the form of vending machines. There are vending machines in Japan now, or at least a few of them, where there are display cases that have cans, of course, and they don't contain beverages. Instead, you're buying a potential link to a romantic partner. And how exactly does this fucking work? So there are pink cans, which represent women seeking companionship, and beige cans, which are men seeking relationships, and each has an individual's age written on it, so you're picking like you're from your age group. And they are products of a matchmaking company called Matching Advisor Press, which is a matchmaking service for single people in Japan that ideally are trying to get you in a serious relationship so you can get married. and each can costs $26. It doesn't guarantee. I don't even know how you buy that in a vending machine in Japan. Like some of these old
$26 for a random person?
Well,
That
I mean,
doesn't
well,
that
I
doesn't
mean,
seem that
the
doesn't
thing-
seem worth it.
well, you're paying $26 to have a matchmaking service offer the service of finding someone who's compatible with you. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But
I
like,
thought the can had the name, have like the information of somebody that signed up for the service or whatever.
I'm just stunned because, like, a lot of these old vending machines in Japan, they just have quarters, or I mean, they're 100 yen coins basically. But like, what are you gonna do? Cram 30 100 yen coins in this fucking machine? Like, I don't. It's got to be just certain machines that take credit cards. But it's so it gets you a voucher for a 1-hour interview and advice session with a matchmaking advisor. To see if you are compatible, and if they have, that doesn't guarantee, but if you are compatible, they set up a 3-hour dinner date for you and your potential partner, I guess, with which costs another
3 hours.
which costs another $100, plus any fees for like food and drink and whatever. But it's just pretty weird because there are vending machines in Japan now selling products that will matchmake you with other people. And it just kind of, I don't know, speaks to the fact that people are working way too hard and having a very difficult time finding partners. And I see this in the U.S. as well. Like, I have friends here that, keep trying to find people through, like, Bumble or whatever, and it just doesn't seem to go well. And it's a tough world out there for people trying to find partners. But in Japan, they've turned to vending machines to make that
I
happen.
understand why they used a vending machine when you could do the same exact thing with a service online.
But this gets a news article written about it, and has word of mouth, and it's
maybe
buzzworthy. Like I kind of can see where they're going with it. It's obviously just like a massive whatever. I think it would be very funny, super funny, if they had like, instead of this advertising like the service of finding a partner, like they would put like a picture of someone and like a quick like blurb, and you're like, oh, that person seems interesting. I choose their can.
I choose
and
you, Pikachu.
Exactly. But it would be really sadistic and even funnier if the marriage, like, advisors, like, assessed each of those people and then made some people's cans pricier. Like, they're like, oh, this person has potential and they're good looking and they've got a good career. This is a 50,000 yen can, and this person's kind of schlubby, could use some cleaning up around the edges. Maybe they're a $23,000 can. Like, that would be very ethically interesting to watch and funny.
People would be very offended by that, though.
Exactly. Hence, that's what I mean by funny.
Yeah, well, that's my big news of the week. So look out. If you're in Japan, look out for these vending machines because they've got to be pretty strange to see. So, all right, what's next?
Well, I didn't really find anything interesting to me personally this week, but I did hear somebody talking about this on our Discord, and they seemed very excited for it. It's Makoto Ojiro's Insomniacs After School manga, and it's getting a TV anime and a live-action film. So they announced this on Wednesday, I believe, and so both of those things are on the way. No other information really about it yet. But if you have not heard about this before, it is a manga that focuses on two insomniac schoolmates, a boy named Ganta and a girl named Isaki. So both of them worry about their constant lack of sleep, and after a chance meeting in school's observatory-turned-storage room, that's wild, the two share secrets and begin having an unusual connection. So if you're a big fan of the manga, well, congratulations. There's an anime and a live-action film on the way.
And I got more about this in the news break if you want to. I have a couple more details, so don't skip it. Don't you dare skip it. Yep. All right.
Mason?
No, this is not good. Do I have any really depressing music? I got to find something here for this. Go ahead, Mason.
You may have heard about this, you may have not. Netflix will be raising their subscription rate once again. If you live in the United States or Canada and subscribe to Netflix, you will be notified 30 days before it happens. The standard plan, which allows you to stream in HD and on a couple devices, will be going from $14 a month to $15.50 a month. So that's probably most of us. So, $1 and half per month, which adds up over the year. Is it enough to cancel? That's for you to decide.
Nope.
The premium service, which is 4K streaming and up to 4 devices, will be going from $18 to $20 a month, and the basic plan will go from $9 to $10 a month. So,
Jesus.
if
20
you are
bucks?
thinking about getting into Netflix, these prices have already been enacted, and they will be rolling out to existing customers gradually. So you may have already gotten a notification, you may have not gotten it yet, but it will happen. The last time Netflix increased their prices was last October, or not last October, in October of 2020. So there you go. Just Netflix. Just nickel and diming us 10 times over once again.
Wow.
But it is what it is. So
It's probably
just letting
because
you know.
it's by far the best streaming service, probably. So, you know, they got you by the balls with like Ozark coming out and all this. You know, The Witcher. The Witcher is the #1 show in the world, by the way, right now. And just like, you know, all this stuff, they're gonna charge whatever the fuck they want. So, and I'll pay it because I feel like I have to.
C'est la vie. So
C'est la vie. All right. Well, that's sad to hear. I mean, it's as long as Netflix continues to create good content for people to watch, you know, $15.50 a month is not the end of the world. So I don't have 4K or whatever the fuck, so I don't really care about that. All right. Well, good show. All right, should we move on to the main topic?
Show
I
up.
think so. And I think since
I'm
Caroline
excited.
did such a great job introducing it, I think she should once again explain how this is going to go down.
Okay, so we each picked 3 shows for our, fellow co-hosts from each other's completed list. So these are shows that they have already seen. May have been a while ago, may have been recently. Either way, we try to pick shows that we feel like would be difficult to explain after a while of seeing it, and try to see if our fellow co-hosts can explain it as best as they can remember. So we will each give 1 point for an adequately described plot synopsis, but we also have a bonus point if you can name 3 characters from the
no
cast
way.
list.
Oh,
There's
fuck
no way
yes.
we were going to get any of these bonus points. That was Mitsugi's idea.
Oh, yeah,
I
it was.
doubt anybody's going to get a bonus point
We
from
can't
these
even
choices.
get one character name on the show that we're reviewing the week of, let alone...
I literally, today, we're reviewing a show. I don't think I can remember anybody's name.
Hashiba.
Oh, well.
That's...
Kana
That's-
Segawa or something.
And,
Kyoya.
Yeah, and Nanako. Okay, so at least we could do that, but these I'm not entirely sure.
So
So
did you guys pick shows that were difficult to explain because they were confusing, or just like hard to remember because they were like not noteworthy, or really like what was your guys' strategy for picking shows, or will we come to that as we go along?
We can.
we can discuss. I mean, I tried to pick shows that I've seen as well as the fellow co-host, but a lot of the ones that we've both seen are pretty memorable shows, and I didn't want to go with those. So I ended up having to pick a lot of shows I've never even heard of before.
I picked shows that were older that I couldn't personally remember the plot synopsis to, so. And
After you're like, I remember seeing that. What was it again? You tell me.
yeah, pretty much. And
Okay, nice.
I just want to add one thing, and that is that I just want to put you guys on notice that this old man is gonna fuck you both up. So get ready for that.
Thanks for
So,
sharing.
get ready.
Okay, so how about we go down the list, and we can start with Mitsugi giving
Oh, yeah.
Mason's shows, then me, and then Mason will go with Mitsugi.
I'll keep score. So I'm gonna write this here.
Wait, so-
Excel.
okay, I see how this is working.
Caroline. I wish I had Excel on this other computer, because then I could display the scores. Maybe I should do that. Why doesn't someone else go first while I try to figure out how to get this up on Twitch for people?
Okay, you could always use Google Drives if you want,
That
but
was
I will
exactly
ask
what I'm gonna do.
Caroline first then.
Okay, putting the heat on.
Yes. So the first show, actually the second, I want you to describe this show first because I want
Okay.
Mitz to be around for this one. I want you to try to explain Ajin for me.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Oh, come
Ajin
on! It's such a
is-
softball.
Yeah, it's
We
pretty
gotta
easy.
gotta lead into it.
It's memorable
God.
because it is about certain people having the ability to be basically immortal and also having these shadow creatures that can fight on their behalf. Now, Kei Nagai, who's the main character, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is one of these Ajins, and he gets mixed up in this whole terrorist plot and other demi-humans, and and trying to basically save the city from being destroyed, all that stuff. I think that's an adequate description of that show. So Kei Nagai, I think he has a friend named Kai, and
Maybe.
And-
It's close. I think it's Kaito, but I'll give you that.
Kaito. Okay. And the another character.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of the
Uh-oh.
old man's name. I think it was like say I don't know. Or
You're on the
it's-
right track.
yeah, I don't think I
difficult.
can think of his name, but the girl, the lady's name is like Shimamura.
Yeah, Shimamura.
Shimamura? Oh
Yeah.
shoot!
Yeah,
Did-
we count all that.
Yay.
Do you feel like Caroline adequately expressed the plot line of this? Because the
Do you want to do it
anime
again?
I mean, the anime is about terrorism. It's about people
Yeah,
with Ajin
she mentioned
powers
that.
rising up against society to. Did you go through all that? Oh, I was busy.
Yeah, I talked about
She
terrorism.
mentioned the terrorism. She didn't. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think we should like spoil these shows in the like what went down, but I think she expressed enough knowledge where if I talked to her on the street, I would be like, okay, yeah, she definitely saw that show. She knew what was
Wow.
going on. I know. I didn't want to lead in with too hard. Like I kind of got to figure out the difficulty. Maybe I'll change my picks to more difficult ones as we go.
Wow.
Oh, switching it up, calling in
course.
I can't think of words.
All right, we'll get
Cool, 2 points.
Yeah,
2 points for Caroline, I guess. That was mine are not that easy. So just saying, be prepared because mine are not. There was no.
Okay.
There's no Ajin in my list. I want to win this game. I won the last game and I never win. So
Should I ask my other two for Caroline, or should we cycle through?
Maybe we should cycle.
I think you should
I-
ask your other two because it's going to be too chaotic otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
But then, yeah, we'll just do groups of 3, and then we'll swap to the next person. So the next one, Caroline, I want you to explain is Kisniver.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
These are so easy, Mason.
Oh my god, I don't remember Kisniver.
I remember
It being. I
Sniver.
remember it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It had a great OP, but it wasn't
I know we
that
didn't review
fantastic.
it.
A good first couple episodes, if I can remember correctly. So Kisniver is about a group of students that get involved in this study on pain and human connections through pain. So against their will, by the way. So they are each connected with pain. So if one of them gets hurt, all the others do as well.
What are they, twins?
And there are love pentagons that get involved
my
in this show,
God.
which not even love triangles. Like they are all in love with each other, and it is so freaking frustrating. And then there's also this other student that is kind of leading the study for whatever reason. She is basically emotionless because of spoilers. And yeah, I don't know if I can remember everybody's name though.
I sure hope not because this old man isn't going to have much of a chance if you keep getting 2 points on every question.
I mean, I feel like I could definitely pick them out of a list, their names, but I don't think I can think of them off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
But I feel like that's a good description of that show.
I
it's
would
Sniper.
agree.
All right.
would agree.
1 point for Caroline. Well done. You have 3 points. Don't get too
Thank you.
cocky though.
Trying my
And
best not to.
the last one I have for Caroline is Crest of the Stars.
Oh my god, a
of
Mitsuki
stars.
special.
Exactly.
So this is a space
I love
show about a guy who kind of gets put into a spot of nobility in this space empire. And he is going to be sent to basically military school or space school or something like that for the nobles. And while getting there, everything kind of just falls apart. He's on this spaceship with this princess of the Empire, but she is just a military student at the moment. And she's just trying to escort him to where he needs to be. But war is breaking out, battles are breaking out. They are trying to escape from getting captured. And that's basically it, I guess.
It's pretty good. It's not a bad
I figured
synopsis.
Nitz would be the good judgment of that one. It's pretty much the setup of it.
Can you name
Yeah,
3 characters?
Again, it's at the tip of my tongue. I think I could think of him with enough time, but I feel like we don't want that much dead air. So
Okay. 1 point for
Yeah.
Caroline. Caroline goes through her first 3 questions of 6 and ends up with 4 total points. So that is not bad.
That's
so
better than
Yeah,
what
it's
I'm going to
pretty
do,
decent.
that's for sure.
it's
Well, you
better-
also gave me kind of easy throws there. But then again, I also have not seen as much anime as either of you, so the things that I have seen are kind of fresh in my mind.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I feel like we often get, an advantage in games by watching so many shows that the tables have turned. So, hey, it's all fair. It's all fair.
I am going to ask my 3 questions to Caroline now.
Oh man,
And
really
we are-
racking my brains here.
And we're going to do it like that because I think it's
We
more
don't-
organized for listeners.
Okay, sure.
Starting with the hardest question on the list.
Okay,
My first one for you is Samurai Flamenco.
that's not even a challenge.
Oh my
Mitsuki.
god,
We
really?
watched that in Anime Club not long ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. Fuck.
Exactly.
All right, Samurai Flamenco is about a guy who just wants to be a superhero, but he doesn't have any superpowers. So he just wants to enact his form of justice by walking around in a leotard and trying to, beat people up, but he's not very good at it. But then, what was the starting action of this show, actually? But then...
I think you're about halfway there at this point.
Okay, and then he starts becoming an actual superhero. There's this company that makes office-themed weapons, like a stapler and a ruler and all those kind of things that can be used as weapons for him. He becomes an actual superhero, not just, beating up loiterers or litterers and all that kind of stuff. And the enemies just get even more ridiculous from there. And then he gets involved with an idol group that also becomes superheroes.
Mason, I'm
Is
gonna leave
that
it up to
enough?
you to judge her on the plot
I
synopsis
can't exactly
because
remember what the starting
The inciting incident.
the inciting incident. That was what I was going for.
I don't remember enough
mean-
about the show to really judge her. So you have to help me out.
I feel like it's missing the crux of the twist of it being a superheroes like in a real world kind of thing, but then like superpowers actually do come into play, and then there's multiple groups of superheroes, but like it's all over the place and it's hard to like capture everything that Samurai Flamenco tries to do across the runtime.
Would you
she
give-
Oh, yeah, I will
mentioned
say
the
that,
excessive stomping of nuts, which happens
Oh, yes,
repeatedly in the
that
show.
happens. A lot of references to different Japanese superhero tropes and shows like Power Rangers and that kind of thing.
All right. So do you believe that she deserves a point, Mason, or not?
That was not one of my best ones.
I want to say no, just to give us a fighting chance. It wasn't bad, but
Can you name 3 characters, Caroline?
Samurai Flamenco. That's on his legal name.
no, it's someone red and someone red and someone red.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, it sounds like we're not giving you a point.
Yeah.
I got to leave it up to the two of you, honestly. So,
Yeah, no point.
all right.
Aw,
Sorry.
Only because
Caroline.
you did so good on the other ones
I guess,
that it's
yeah.
relative.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna judge this. I'm judging this next one. I'm gonna help judge it. I mean, because I can use the synopses on my anime list at least. So I haven't even seen this anime, so I have no choice. But the next one is White Album 2.
Okay.
Oh my god, she pukes.
I
I like how you
hate
keep on
this
picking
show.
anime club dicks.
I didn't. How am I supposed to know? Maybe
Because I have scores
Because
on
if
it.
Caroline
It's one of
hasn't
my.
watched it for the review, it's an anime club show. That's
Well-
how her list works.
Oh, it's not. That's not exactly how it works.
Oh my
I
God,
Oh,
think
okay.
well.
It's either a review, an anime club show, or Naruto, and that's how her
Oh,
list.
shut up, Mason.
you,
That's
I mean, you
not
can't really.
true.
You can't expect me to pick shows that we watch on the podcast, right?
Listen, I watched Ajin and Kids Niver on my own. Those were neither anime club nor podcast.
All right,
so
hot.
we'll say that.
All right, hot shit. Give me the synopsis. Let's go.
Hot shit.
Come on.
Well, this show is hot shit. It
Oh.
is about a love triangle, of course, and a boy, girl. They are in a music group together, trying to form a band, but both of them are vying for, of course, the male character. I honestly thought that this was going to be a lesbian couple because one of them was jealous that the other one was spending so much time with the. Okay, so the quiet girl got jealous because he was spending so much time with the Genki girl. I honestly thought that if this was going to turn on its head, the quiet girl would actually be in love with the Genki girl, but it didn't happen like that, and I was kind of pissed. What more could you possibly say about this anime other than it's just being generic love triangle with bland protagonists and two girls that can do so much better?
Can you name the 3 of the main characters?
No, no chance.
Okay, I think that's based on the synopsis on my anime list. I'd say that's adequate. So I will give you 1 point.
I'll take it.
All right. Now
My
since
last one.
as tradition apparently holds, I assume this next one will also be a anime club. Anime, I have no idea. And it is the 12 Kingdoms, a Mitsugi special.
Actually, I watched that on my own, and I put it on the list for anime clubs. So
Oh, boy,
both.
here. Well, I expect you to give a very good plot synopsis.
I like how we
I
both
can't.
pick shows that you love Myth as a way to like try to irritate you by her like
I have seen
not
this.
remembering.
Yeah, I have
Her
seen this
memory's
anime
too
many
good.
times. So
Her
It's
brain
again
is too
also
young
the
and
fact that
malleable.
yeah, honestly, it is just the fact that whatever I've seen, a lot of things that I have seen are things I wanted to watch. You guys had to watch a lot of stuff that you didn't want to watch because of this podcast. Anywho, so the 12 Kingdoms is an isekai where our main character gets sent to another world, but it's actually her original world because she was born there and sent to our world. But she gets sent back because she. Is this a spoiler?
a huge one, but that's okay. You already said it. Just continue.
Because of reasons, she gets sent back. And
Yeah, 'cause of
now
reasons.
she is basically very unhappy and stuck in this world with her psychopathic classmate and the classmate that does nothing. And then, so she's just having to travel through this world that she knows nothing about, being like suffering a whole lot. This is a very suffering show. And yeah, if I say any more, I think I might spoil it. But main character.
I need more from you because you basically just
Really?
you really only described like 4 or 5 episodes out of 50.
Because if I say any more, it's spoilers.
Can you give any details from any of the other story arcs?
One of my favorite story arcs was actually at the end, where there's one girl that gained immortality by becoming a servant to a queen, but she made the wrong choice because that was a horrible, horrible mistake. And actually, she was from this world as well. She got stuck there as well. And then she became a servant to the queen, became immortal, and had to live the rest of her life being bullied by this queen. Or was
Okay,
it just
all right. I'm satisfied. So, can you name
Okay.
3 characters from it?
Tsugumoto? Was that the girl classmate?
What was
I'll
the
give it to you.
rodent dude's
It's
name?
not quite right, but I'll give it to you because I don't think you're gonna get 2 more.
Sugimoto?
It's
The little rat
Sugimoto.
boy.
This is great. I love watching it.
Rakshun. Is Rakshun? Or Rakshun.
I think that's,
And the main character. Haha.
We don't even know what color her hair is,
I'll
let
give you
alone what her name is.
I'll give you 5 seconds, 10 seconds to give another answer.
Kyoko? Is that the main character?
Well,
Keiko?
Keiko?
Well, I don't.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah, you were really close on all three of them. I'll give you 1 point here.
Really?
The rat's name is Rakushun,
Rakashun.
and the girl you were thinking of is Sugimoto, and the main girl's name is Yoko.
Ah, damn it! That was so close.
All right, so but you're doing well so far. You have wait a second. We have 6 points, so which is good.
Right.
But I can see that these name 3 characters is pretty hard at this point.
Yeah, that's impossible.
So well, not really, because Caroline did it once. So
I came close a couple times.
all right. So who would like to go? I guess Caroline is going to go next, and with her questions, and she's going to choose who she's asking because you are now finished. So
Okay, I'll just start from the top. And let's test Mitsugi at the moment.
Oh boy.
Okay, so you
I'm
have
so
to give
old.
me the
Come on,
synopsis.
make it easy. I'm so old.
I'm going with whatever I've written down. I'm not changing it.
I'm so much older than you, Caroline. I'm like a whole 100 years older, at least.
Is that an excuse?
Yes. It is.
Well,
Okay,
we
go
do
ahead.
not.
You're like a champion.
We do not give handicap points here.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right.
So you have to give me the synopsis of Princess Principal.
Oh my god. I hate Princess Principal.
I loved Princess
God
Principal.
damn it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. There's like a girl and she's like a princess and her kingdom is under attack, and another girl goes into the castle or whatever that's being attacked and helps her escape or something, and they end up being like a group of secret agents sort of, and go on missions together, and there's a lot of action scenes on trains. It's broken into different story arcs where they take on different action-packed sort of adventures, and I know a lot of it takes place on trains. There's a lot of action on top of trains and shit. That's about all I got.
I don't know. I mean, you got some things right there, but you also made it very vague and also in different order than it happens in.
A part of me thinks that if Mitsugi went first, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of close. It hits the basic, broadest notes. But, after the quality of Caroline's synopsis, it just doesn't
I wouldn't
hold a
give myself
candle.
points for that, to be honest, so.
Sorry. Okay.
And
Next.
can you
boy,
guess
here
any
we
of their
go.
names besides Moe Blob 1 and Moe
Yeah,
Blob
kick
2
kick
and British
dirt on
Moe
me.
Blob 3?
Kick dirt on Mitsugi's grave. Here it comes.
Nothing.
I don't know the fucking characters' names. Are you kidding? I intentionally removed all of this anime from my memory.
There's Charlotte, there's Anji, and
God.
there is...
Who the fuck cares?
I can't get a third one. Okay.
Oh my god. Big fat zero
now
from
we're-
Mitz.
And I again, most of these shows I've probably actually haven't seen. Princess Principal is the exception. Okay, next you got to give me the synopsis. Actually, no, I've seen this one. Koi to Uso, Love and Lies.
I watch that show.
Did I even watch Koi to Uso? Oh my god. Did we cover that on the podcast?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
this was back in 2018, I think.
Oh man. That's fucking hard. Koi to
This is
Uso. Just the
honestly-
just
I'm
the
gonna do
title
even
makes me
worse than
sad.
this.
Oh, come on now. Love and Lies. I don't fucking know. A bunch of school kids do a bunch of stuff and act like they wouldn't in real life, and I don't know.
Well, actually, it is about.
Here she goes, popping off.
Do I? Or should I just leave it at that?
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
you
it's
can give
about it's about this world of Japan that now has a law written that everybody basically has to have a test or an aptitude test for marriage, and they will connect you with somebody who should be your the person that you would fit well with, and then the main character gets put with this person, but he is in love with this person, and I don't really have to go too much
Oh my
into
god.
it, but
Okay.
You should have just gone to the vending machine.
Exactly.
Yeah, no shit. Oh man, based on the first two anime, I'm gonna get like some fucking romance slice of life moe blob shit for the third one for sure. Caroline has sensed a weak point and she's attacking it very hard. It's like never.
Well, this one I have actually never heard of before.
Oh well, I guess I have a better chance then.
Okami Kakushi.
Okami Kakushi.
Yeah.
Okami Kakushi. What is the English title of that?
The English title is Wolfed Away. That's such a bad
What?
name. I don't know. You had it on your list.
I gotta at least
Mask
get.
of the Wolf. The 2010 show.
Oh my
Studio AIC.
god. We
Never heard of
Jesus,
it.
we reviewed this on the podcast, but I have.
This is like a show
no
that
idea.
has like a 5 point something on Mal.
I have
Like
no-
it's not.
absolutely
It's
no
not
idea.
This
a
has
good
a
show.
6.32, in fact.
Well, on any list it has a 57%. So I was guessing it was around there.
I
got a
wasn't picking your
6.3,
top-rated shows because there was no way that you would
Yeah.
remember things that were in the middle of your list.
Yeah, this is like a show we reviewed on the podcast 12 years ago, and I haven't thought about it since, so I can't remember this. There's no fucking way. Yeah, this one came out like when the podcast was like 6 months old, probably about. So, yeah, there's no fucking way. Wow, I feel so sad right now. I'm gonna have to go to the doctor, get like a CT scan done of my brain.
Based on the
Well-
shows you guys picked for me, I feel like I should have been a little bit nicer with my picks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I will say it is
No,
kind of
it's
bullshit.
fine.
Caroline gets Ajin, which is like amazingly easy.
I
I
picked
gave
some
you-
easy ones for you too, Mitch. Don't worry.
I gave you a samurai flamenco. You got a samurai flamenco softball and a 12 Kingdom softball, and I'm getting moe blob fucking anime. Okay, you know what? It's just sour grapes. It's all sour grapes, and I'm gonna make it up right now with
Yeah.
But well done. You fucked me up real
Softballs.
good.
Sorry,
Well,
I feel
that's
bad
fantastic.
now.
Oh, you
If
should.
we do this again, I will be a little bit easier.
Oh my god. Okay. Just
right,
so
here we
people
go.
know, just for people playing at home, due to his father's job, 15-year-old Kazumi and his family moved to a mountain town of Joga. While some teenagers might have to worry about fitting in or feeling out of place in a new environment, he is welcomed enthusiastically at school by most of his new classmates. In fact, it seems like they just can't get enough of him, and he makes two friends rather quickly: a clingy and overly affectionate Isuzu and his neighbor Asagiri, who also recently moved to the town. All in all, his new life seems to be quite normal until people start disappearing, and Hiroshi is told that the missing townfolk have simply moved away, but he can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. That's the side.
Sounds like Shiki and a Higurashi
Yeah.
B movie kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, Mason. Help me
All right,
unembarrass myself.
Let's get you on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
so
please.
I know how much you love
I'm
Studio
sorry.
Ghibli.
Oh, you gonna give me a Studio Ghibli anime? Oh, this is fucking
How
great.
much can you explain about Ocean Waves?
Oh my god.
I've never seen this. I can't tell you.
Oh man.
This is
Really?
this is a tough Ghibli film. If you haven't seen it, it's only like an hour long.
It's not good
and
either.
I'll tell you what it's about if Mitz can't, but it's not.
Yeah, I
great
mean, I
now.
saw this about 23 years ago. I know it takes place in a school, and there's a lot of high school drama. It has one of anime's greatest bitch slaps in it of all time.
At one point. That's all that happens.
Some girl slaps a guy really fucking hard, but I can't remember why she slaps it, but it's amazing. And that's about all I got. So,
Yeah, it's pretty much a pairing, a guy and a girl, and they're kind of crushing on one another. But then she spends more time with another dude, and they go off on like adventures and off to Tokyo together. And yeah, that pretty much the slap is all that happens.
How
Yeah,
scandalous.
it is pretty scandalous. It's just more of a vibe than anything really else. But it is one of the often overlooked Studio Ghibli
it's not good.
films. Well, that's and it's
Well,
not like
so I said high school drama. Does that get me any points, or is that not enough?
I don't think it's enough.
I don't think it is either. Oh boy.
Let's go with the next one, which is Kokoku.
Oh, Kokoku. Oh man. Kokoku's like this. Oh my god. It's like a paranormal supernatural anime where people have powers where they can control time, I think. And they're trying to get after some object that's like powerful or it has values of what they're trying to accomplish, and they keep manipulating time in an effort to like combat each other. So there's a lot of like little blue or white like wispies flying around as they like do their combat, but it's a very nebulous sort of convoluted plot line to begin with. Is that even
That's
remote? Is that it?
I
Is it
mean,
is it
there's all
remotely
about the
close?
whole like stopping time and the really good OP and like the Dusty thing and like the grandfather and her are the only people that can move except for the bad guys. I would have needed more, I think, if I'm being honest.
It's fine. All right, Mitz has 0 points so far. I'm doing good.
Here's your last one though.
I'm doing good.
Kashern Sins.
Oh, it's like a Sentai anime. Is that even an anime? That's a live action, I think, on my list.
There's probably a live action version.
Yeah,
but
I don't think I've seen the anime of
but
Kashern Sins.
Oh, I'm sure. It was on your list.
Let me see. Kashern Sins. Oh, wow, so it is. Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
maybe you just watched the live action and marked it as the anime. I don't know.
I have no idea what this is about. All right, good job. You direct hit. You sunk my battleship.
Sorry,
No,
Mitsuki.
I was supposed to have the easy ones.
No, I didn't really expect to do well in this game. There's like, I got like 700 anime on my anime list, and I probably only remember like at least a third of them. So I didn't have very good odds.
Don't
All
worry,
right.
man. I'm gonna do just as bad
I doubt it.
because I've seen more, and since I'm going last, it's been even longer since I've seen these shows. Caroline was fresh. She went 10 minutes ago.
All right,
Now 10 minutes from now, I won't remember a single show. So
I'll kick it off here for you.
lay it
then.
on me.
All right. I gave you. I'm just looking at what I picked for you. It's not that hard. I'm gonna go from the bottom one. The first one for you is Ergo Proxy.
Okay, yeah, that is Rael Mayer is the main character.
Yep, that's right.
She wears eyeliner, I can tell you that much. And she becomes aware of the underpinnings of this like dystopian society that she's a part of, and she flees she escapes the city on this. I don't know if it's an airship, but it's some the floating device with this girl in a pink bunny suit.
What?
What? I've
I don't
never seen
remember
Ergo
that.
Proxy, so.
Yeah, I don't remember the
Or,
bunny
I
suit.
don't know if it's a bunny suit, but it's like she's wearing. It's like Pippo. It's some cute little adorable kawaii robot. I don't know if she's a robot. A little
Yeah.
girl.
I mean, I'm looking at her right here, but she's not wearing a bunny suit.
I thought she had like animal ears. What was her name?
I don't know. Just one picture. Maybe she's wearing a. Yeah, I give you her name, but I can't do that right now.
Anyway, she flees the city, and in this, as when she's outside, she meets all these people living in fear or in anger or in distrust, and learns more about what's really going on and the hidden meaning behind the people in charge, and eventually has to storm back and try to make a stand and impact the world for the better. My goodness, what is that girl's name?
The little
She's
girl.
very cute. Yeah.
If you can name can you name any other characters besides Rel and the girl you're trying to think of?
No, I haven't seen the show in a while.
Her name's Pino.
Pino. I knew it was something like that, so I'm not giving myself the point, but I was close.
I'm just not sure. I'm trying to decide whether to give you the point or not.
I mean, it's very much half about like her, like episodic struggle of like surviving and exploring the outside world and how it all relates. But it's very much a metaphorical show about our society, and there's a lot of confusing elements at play that maybe you're just trying to make me explain to you so you can get what the show's about. But
you probably remember more about this anime than I do, but you didn't mention the monster that like tries to kill her for like probably the whole first half of the show. Which I was looking for that.
Okay, I get what you were saying.
It's kind of like a, but I get that that's not really the overall point of the anime, but that's pretty prevalent.
It's kind of what drives her in a lot of her decisions, and trying to figure out who this guy is and why he wears that like mask type thing and what his powers actually are and how they originated are all part of it.
I give you a point, Mason.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind.
All right. The next one is, and I haven't seen this, so I'm gonna look up the synopsis. The next one is Angel's Egg Tenshi no Tamago.
This is not fair.
Why?
You get 1 bonus point if you can name 3 characters. None of them have names, and there's only 2 characters. What do you want from me?
You're right. That's hilarious. I didn't even look at the cast list.
It's okay. So
if you can name the 2.
They're not ever explicitly named anything. It's just a small girl
it literally
who
says
holds
boy
an
and girl.
egg, and her, not even her protector, just some dude who looks very stern and also has white hair, who just kind of watches over her and sometimes protects her in this world as they just kind of drift aimlessly around waiting for the egg to hatch. And it's literally Mamoru Oshii. Sorry if you hear her clicking, that's a cough drop because my throat is shredded. As they just wait for the egg to hatch, and it's all spooky and mysterious and looks very Dark Soulsian at times, and it's just them kind of like ruminating on life and what it means and what are we besides just trying to hatch the next generation of inhabitants, if it even is us that's coming out of the egg. Highly symbolic, highly boring for a lot of people. It's very methodical. It's Mamoru Oshii just flexing artistic talent where not much happens.
We are conferring with the
I've never seen it,
judges.
so I can't.
Conferring. 2 points for Mason.
Thank you. You actually made it easy for me by not giving me any characters.
Well, no, because the sheer fact that you knew there were only 2 characters and that they didn't have names is enough.
Okay. Well,
if you had sat there and tried to figure out the 3 characters, then I wouldn't have given you a point. All right.
Yeah.
And the last one is the one that I thought was the easiest on the list. It is the series of Escaflowne.
Gotcha. So not the movie?
Not the movie, which is dog shit, the TV series.
Okay, so Escaflowne is a story of Hitomi, who is like a high jumper or like a track runner. Anyway, she does something in school, and all of a sudden, this big old robot comes in and invades, and this prince named Vaughn, who I will never forget the name of because some other cat girl character constantly is like, Vaughn-sama, 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 every single goddamn episode, and it's the most annoying thing ever.
At least you know their names.
Vaughn like fights off this robot thing, and then they go back to their world, and they take, accidentally, I think, Hitomi along with them, and she's kind of stuck in this world of Gaia, and she's like, I'm in this world, I maybe kind of have psychic powers, maybe I don't, I have this cool necklace that my like grandmother gave me, and Vaughn's like, well, I don't really need you, get out of here, but maybe you do have powers, so stick around, and she kind of sticks around with Vaughn, and they kind of go on adventures, and by adventures I mean fight off this like massive like edgelord army of like black mecha soldiers descending from the Sky Fortress as they try to like destroy Gaia. And like what city are they trying to get the powers of? Is it Atlantis? Is it it was some like legendary city. I don't know if it was Atlantis or if it was like Babylon.
Can you name a third character? You gave 2 character names. This anime has a lot of characters in it.
It does. No, the bad guy started with a Z, but that was, I think, the group. I don't know if that was their names. What was the name of that annoying cat girl?
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Uh, it was something F. I have no idea. I couldn't name. I just know Vaughn and I know
1
Hitomi.
point.
Perfect, thank you. I'll take it.
Yeah, the girl's name is Meryl, by the way. The cat girl.
Meryl, okay.
All right, so basically, Mason needs 3 points off of Caroline's questions in order to win, because Mason now has 4 and Caroline has 6, and that's all that's left right now is Caroline. So you're up. 3 more questions for Mason.
I'll be honest with you, I've never seen any of these, so let's see how it goes. You have to give me the synopsis of Kimi no Irumachi.
My God.
What's the English title?
The English title is...
I'm just buying time.
A Town Where You Live.
Yep.
A Town Where You Live.
Looks unbelievably generic. Wow.
Is... If it's the show I'm thinking of, it is a romance show where it's a ton of... So the guy is like kind of trying to get in a relationship with the girl from the city, and she like turns him down, I think, and he's like, "Oh shucks." So he goes back to his hometown, and he kind of reconnects with his like hometown sweetheart, and he kind of like takes shelter in this safe space that he grew up with, and all of a sudden the girl he was kind of fond of in the city moves out to his hometown. And he's like, oh, damn, like, both of the honeys I was after are in the same place. I kind of don't know which one I like more now. And he always makes the wrong decision, always gets into misunderstandings. A lot of, like, the relationship drama of figuring out who you like while both of them are like, hey, which one of us do you like? And it's very not good. I'll tell you that much. That's for sure. I think one of the girls has blue hair. I don't remember her name.
How do you remember so much about these fucking terrible anime from like 10 years ago?
I remember someone recommended this to me as like the show had potential. It just is not my sort of show, but it had some good moments. I remember this show because I biked to this, like in like quarantine. I would like be on the stationary like Peloton, and these episodes felt like they were going by. It was taking forever to watch. I don't want to spoil how it resolves because, as typical, it is.
They all die. Happy ending.
He makes the wrong choice. Spoilers. But that's pretty much how it plays out. And there's other guys in the mix with other relationships, and spoiler, that dude just dies. He just like nope. So now there's a third girl who's like, well, I kind of like this guy, and he died. So I guess I'm gonna like the main character now. It's one of those kind of shows. It's a classier kind of harem than we're getting nowadays, and there is some like the girls do feel a bit more like genuine characters and just same face syndrome on the same body type syndrome, but it's something like that.
Can you name 3 characters?
No, not a chance.
Well, I'd say that synopsis was decent. So...
Gotcha.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, so next
I'm
have
really
to
tempted
give
to look
me...
up the show now to be like, what the heck were their names?
Don't do it.
Oh, I can tell you if you want.
Don't torture yourself.
The name, the blue-haired character is Eba Yuzuki. There's Asuka Mishima and Kirishima Haruto.
Okay, at least you looked up Eba for me, because I was going to guess Ebi, which is like shrimp, because I knew it was something like that, but I knew it wasn't shrimp.
God, terrible name.
Oh my
Well,
goodness. Yeah, Studio Gonzo.
Now you have to give me the synopsis of Fractale.
Oh my God.
Oh, this show started off with so much potential, and then it squandered it in like a really almost impressively bad way. I don't remember if this was an Okada written show. I remember the cover has like, it looks like they're on like an air balloon. For some reason I'm confusing in my head this show with, what's the one with the really good opening by the Boom Boom Satellites?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I can think of Kid Sniper, but I don't think
Yeah,
that's...
the same band that did that did a great opening for a show with like mail delivery. And I watched this and Fractal at the same time, and both of these shows had great openings, great potential, and then fell apart drastically. And Fractal, I remember, had to do with like a town that they had to protect by erecting this like magic barrier, and I have absolutely wiped this show from my memory. So do not give me a point for it. I'm going to cheat right now and look up what the heck it was.
Caroline comes in
Yeah,
with
The
there-
story
there's that-
takes place on an island where a fractale system begins to collapse. One day, Klain finds an injured girl named Frayne under a cliff, and she disappears, leaving a pendant. Klain sets out on a journey for the girl-shaped avatar Nessa to look for Frayne, whatever, and discovers the secret of the fractale system. And that was on my anime list. That was not a good synopsis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
Give
can't
him his
believe I
last
gave this
question. We got to
before.
wrap up the game here.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so last one I thought was a show, but as it turns out, it is a movie, and it's Hakubo.
I've never even heard of this.
Hakubo. Is this?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is the one with the bear. Does it have a English title?
The English title is Twilight, I think.
The
Yeah,
English
Twilight.
title is Twilight. Yeah, that's right. Two
I
pretty
remember
vampire
something
boys
about-
fight over a girl.
I thought it
There's
was
no
something
two-
about an
it's a
earthquake.
vampire and a werewolf, Mitsuki.
Okay, sorry. I know. Strike your favorite.
I honestly don't know. I thought it was something with an earthquake. I couldn't tell you anything more than that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there is an earthquake, but I don't know if that's enough.
Fuck no, it's not.
No.
Wow. Caroline comes in and plays defense, defends her
I mean-
lead.
Hakubo's like an hour long? Like half an hour? Like it's like
Not
a single
even.
episode.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Nope.
I actually thought it was a full. It's 52 minutes, but when I was making my list, I thought it was an actual show. But I only just now realized it was a movie.
hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. I watched it. I should have remembered. I believe mathematically, this means Caroline wins.
Yay!
The final score
did it.
is Mitsugi in third place, bronze medal. Humble brag. 0 points.
Still on the podium, baby.
Mason comes in a very strong challenger with 5 total points. On the strength of Mitsugi's questions, because you got 4 off of me and only 1 off of Caroline. And then Caroline comes in with a winning 6 points. 4 points off of
Yay.
Mason, 2 points off of Mitsugi. And Caroline is our winner. So, wow.
Thank you all. I would like to thank my youth and also the fact I only started watching anime in 2015, baby. All fresh in the mind. So,
That's true.
thank you for joining us in that game.
Her young brain has squashed us. Even
Her
though Mason,
200
What can I
completed anime count.
although Mason's
Really
not
Yeah,
comes
exactly
up.
199 completed so far.
That's
Only
it?
one more to
Oh,
go.
What are you gonna pick? What are you gonna watch for to celebrate and to watch and to
My
get to 200?
my 200th?
Yeah.
Whatever we're watching for Anime Club, I guess.
Loop on the third part 1.
Well, actually,
Golden-
you'd have to finish.
my God. Golden
We're
Boy.
only watching half of it, so
Yeah.
I guess that won't be it. But we'll see. I'll tell you what it is later. Okay, so let's have our weekly trivia question. In episode 5 of Remake Our Life, they have a performance of what legendary Haruhi song? And we will tell you the answer right after the news break.
a bad performance.
Spoilers.
Hey there, anime addicts. Mitsugi is here. I'm bringing you your anime news break. Starting off with a couple new anime adaptation announcements. The anime bottom tier character Tomozaki, which was a light novel that got an anime adaptation in the winter of 2021, done by Studio Project Number 9. is apparently getting another new anime project, so it isn't quite described if this is a film, an OVA, or maybe another season. However, for now, bottom tier character Tomozaki will be getting another season starring Tomozaki, Japan's best player of the online game Attack Families. Despite holding the title of best, and he lacks social skills, and which causes him to fall short in everyday high school life and failing to have any friends. He blames the convoluted mechanics of the real-life world, forcing him to give up and proclaim himself a bottom-tier character in the game of life. So those of you that have seen the first season of this, you know what it is and probably are anticipating a new anime project that will be coming out sometime, I'm sure, pretty soon. And next up, a new anime adaptation is the manga Kimi wa Hokago Insomnia, or Insomniacs After School, is getting a TV anime and a live-action movie. The property was drawn by Ojiro back in as a slice of life manga in the May of 2019 when it was launched in Big Comic Spirits. The synopsis follows two students, Nakami and Magari, who both meet in the abandoned astronomy club's observatory after one of the astronomy club members is actually killed. And it looks like the two form an unlikely friendship and spend time in the observatory helping each other cope with insomnia, as the title of the anime would describe, and the lasting effects it has on their life as students. So if this sounds interesting to you, look out for Insomniacs After School sometime soon. Next up, two Los Angeles Police Department members, Luis Lozano and Eric Mitchell, were both fired after playing Pokemon Go instead of responding to a call regarding a robbery in progress that happened back in April of 2017. This came to light recently as former members submitted a petition to the California Court of Appeals. And according to the document, the former officers were working as partners on a foot patrol when the patrol supervisor heard a call for a robbery in progress at a mall. He attempted to radio the two police officers for backup, and upon questioning, it was discovered that the police officers were fucking around on Pokemon Go and not being police officers, and have since been fired for their actions. So pretty weird stuff. And lastly, Initial D just seems to be in the news more and more lately as the MF Ghost anime is coming out, well, sadly, over a year from now, and people are looking forward to it. But still, the Initial D's iconic Toyota AE86 is a cultural sort of mainstay in Japan, and you can find that car driving around Japan with the decals on it from the anime. And it's being used in Toyota's USA marketing campaign for the 2022 Toyota GR86, which is a pretty cool-looking car. And there's an anime sequence of the GR86, which you can buy for about $27,000 US brand new for the 2022 model, racing the antique now AE86 down Mount Akina. So if you're a fan of Initial D, Toyota, want to check out this car, etc., there are two different videos you can watch, two commercials, one called Welcome Matt and one called Pursuit, that are both available online on YouTube for you to watch from Toyota. Pretty neat stuff. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break, and now time to get back to the podcast. This podcast is brought to you by, well, it's not brought to you by anybody, and you know what? Really, that's okay. I just wanted all of the anime addicts out there to know that I love all you guys, and I've loved you all for a long time doing this podcast. And, you know, if you want to help out the podcast, that's cool. And if you don't, you know, I still love you. You could still come over and have dinner at my place. We could watch anime and be good buddies. Because, you know what? It's all about the anime love, you know? Really. And if you do want to help out the podcast, you know, it's over at aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. But you know what? I hope regardless, you just enjoy this podcast today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. And now let's get back to the podcast. welcome back to the podcast. I went and got some hot oatmeal over the break, not because it's particularly good, but because I'm freezing.
Yeah, I was thinking that's not the typical mid-podcast meal is a bowl of oatmeal.
I also have no food here and a destroyed kitchen, so
Yeah.
It's about all I could muster up, other than cookies, which are packaged. Episode 5 of Remake Our Life has a performance, a bad one, of what legendary Haruhi Suzumiya song? God Knows. That one should have been easy, because even if you haven't seen Haruhi Suzumiya, you probably could have guessed that. So,
And I tell you, I had no idea what God Knows was. Like, is this an anime-only song or what? Because literally, I've never seen Haruhi and never heard of this song.
yeah, it's probably worth going and watching like a YouTube video of God Knows, because it has the scene from the anime, and it is pretty fucking good. So
I would say that this song was better than it needed to be for this show. So that gave me a clue that was probably from a better show.
Oh yeah,
Spoiler
It's like
alert.
not even
Quality?
close. Yeah.
It must be a rip-off, a copy.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Well, as we do, Mason is going to keep you up to date with what the movies are that you should be watching, and as he brings you the Unexplored picture segment. So here we go.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for Unexplored Pictures with Mason.
In this episode, we have a big movie to talk about. It is Belle, aka The Dragon and the Freckled Princess, aka Ru to Sabakasu no Hime.
AKA.
This is... Oh, The Dragon and the Freckled Princess.
I just wanted you to have one more. That would have been great.
Oh, sorry. AKA the North Side Stunner. AKA the Beast from the South Side. I don't know. This is a 2-hour movie that came out last year, but recently, like as in right now, had its North American release in theaters. So some of you might be on your way to see it right now. Some of you might just have watched it and are on your way back. Either way, this is written and directed by Mamoru Hosoda and produced by Studio Chizu, their 4th collaboration. Obviously, their first 3 being the very popular Wolf Children, The Boy and the Beast, and Mirai, which came out 3 years in 2018. 4 years from when I'm saying this word. It tells the story of Suzu, a 17-year-old high school girl living with her father in a rural town, and one day she discovers the massive online world called You, just like the letter. And she dives into this alternate reality. It kind of like takes your biometrics to make your avatar, and her, picture of her is kind of mixed with the classmates, and her avatar is the persona of Belle, who is this beautiful songstress with Suzu's singing ability augmented. She becomes a virtual superstar overnight, and her song reaches millions and billions of people, and she becomes a global sensation in the world of You. And the look of this movie is kind of a story of 2 parts, which is kind of the whole theme, because in the world of You, it's pretty much all CG, and the opulence of it all is kind of lost, because, the story, the film starts with our leading lady songstress flying through this virtual world of skyscrapers and streamers and sparkles and confetti and flowers, and it's all like exploding around her, and she is like riding a whale with like speakers attached to it. And as fantastical as that sounds, it kind of just looks plain. And it doesn't help that the CG is on par with like Summer Wars, which is another work of his. And you're like, okay, that movie looked all right. But that movie also came out in 2009, so for the CG to kind of be equal is not a great sign, And it's probably just the look of this movie in the virtual world is kind of one of the biggest misses, because it kind of relies on it being so flashy, along with it being like a Disney-inspired Frozen-esque pop song, to appeal to you. So without either of those landing, you're kind of left with, well, what else? Well, the other half of the film, which is about half the time, obviously, takes place outside of You, in the real world, and that has your more typical 2D animation. And the scenery and the detail is fantastic. Sure, you get some, like, background characters that look wonky, but, like, very much the look of this movie is like all their other movies with a if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. So if you like their other movies, you'll like the look of this one. One thing that Hosoda does really well is families. And that's kind of like the smallest portion of this, which kind of doesn't help because all that's left is a lot of melodrama and like over exposition and people explaining every single plot point in extreme detail, and it's so overdone. And I get that it's a movie, you have to compress the length that times have to stew and build up, but it seems so contrived and dramatic. And as the movie goes on, it becomes a Beauty and the Beast story as Belle becomes entangled with a monstrous creature that inhabits the world, and they flee to their universe or their internet castle together, and they kind of express their love by doxing one another. It's like kind of weird.
Weird.
But nonetheless, this story is about like life on the internet and all the negativity and pressures that it can bring on being famous there, but also like what the internet can offer in terms of like outreach and allowing your passions to explode and reach new people. So it's kind of about dichotomy, it's about internet stardom, but also it's about the real person behind the superstar and kind of how there's a disconnect and how, you know, being an online persona can affect you in the real world. But everything feels a little too bombastic to really connect with me. So the movie, like this plot, is about duality, and it's a very uneven movie. Some minutes I'm like, oh, this is really getting somewhere. Other minutes I'm like, this is a waste of time. So if you really like Hosoda's works, and you really like poppy tunes on your Spotify, give Belle a shot. Otherwise, I thought this was the weakest of all the Hosoda films, and I would advise you to check out his other stuff first. So, not terrible, but very up and down experience. So, that's kind of the non-spoiler thoughts, and hopefully you enjoyed it if you watched it.
All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I was kind of hoping for some better news because, like, I've heard like so many things about Belle coming out this year. You know, so much promotional art coming out, and people getting excited for it. But
Yeah, I've heard so many mixed things. Just it's really been the story of two tales on this thing. People say they love it, people say they hate it. There was like a 14-minute standing ovation at its premiere, and you're like, wow,
Jesus.
that's
Seems
is
excessive.
that almost too good to be true? Yeah, and then similar like this is. I feel like this will hit every palate differently based on what you're coming in for. So it's kind of hard to recommend or not recommend based on each person. So there you go. That's Belle, Belle, in case you wanted to look it up. So there you go.
All right. Well, cool. And it might be worth going to get out of the house for a bit and go to see a movie. So,
Yeah, it's in theaters
There you go.
now.
all right. Now, as we do every episode, it's time to do some mailbags. And if you want to submit a mailbag, go over to aaapodcast.com/mailbag and write us something, and we'll read it for you here on the podcast.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag. SSGSS Ginger writes, who are some of your favorite anti-heroes of anime? One of mine is Hisoka because he's always there to help improve the main heroes without injuring them.
I don't know if that's Hisoka, and I don't think that's what an anti-hero
Yeah.
is. But it's a good question.
Hisoka is pretty happy to kill people. To kill anybody, really.
And he's a villain, which is different than
Yeah.
an anti-hero. An anti-hero is not someone who is not a hero.
He pretty
An
much only...
anti-hero is a hero who doesn't have the traits of a hero.
Right, yeah. He pretty much only helps out anyway when he's got something he needs, basically. And okay, so for me, I went straight for Vegeta. You know, I wasn't really sure if Vegeta classified as an anti-hero, but when you consider like clear into like towards the end of Dragon Ball Z, where you know we get to like the Buu saga, Vegeta is still willing to give up basically his humanity for power and to kill Goku. So he like gives up everything to become like Majin. So I think Vegeta is an anti-hero. He definitely but he does have moments of heroism, I would say.
I would, on a long enough timeline, I would say Vegeta becomes an anti-hero. So
Yeah, he goes from
I'd say so.
Let's see.
Let me just give the definition of antihero. A central character in a story, movie, or drama that lacks conventional heroic attributes.
Yeah, so let's see. Vegeta is a villain clear up until he fights Frieza.
Now I'm looking it up. I didn't look it up.
And even then, he doesn't really give a fuck about them. It's not until he gets reincarnated and back on Earth that he ends up being like with the group. And that's well over 100 episodes, I think. And then he's pretty much training on his own and is an asshole for most of the next two arcs. Yeah, Vegeta's pretty rough. And then I looked up. There's some good lists online of anti-heroes. Revy is a good anti-hero from Black Lagoon, and they said Guts was an anti-hero. So I love Guts. So I mean, I haven't read the manga, so I don't really know how he changes in the manga. But according to this website, he is an anti-hero, and I'll read through a few more of these after we finish the other responses. So what do you guys think?
My definition says main characters or central characters. So, but that's close enough. Anyway, go ahead, Caroline.
I think probably one of the most famous and clear anti-heroes of anime is probably got to be Light Yagami, because he is the main character and his views are very not black and white. He is killing villains, and that is in some way heroic, but he's also doing it based on his own ego and his definition of what evil is. And by that, his he's by definition the hero of the story because he is the main character, I guess. But I guess we can debate on that, but he is an anti-hero because we can debate all day on the
is he
goodness
favorite?
of. He is probably. I looked through other shows and other anti-heroes that I could think of, but honestly, nothing compares to Light Yagami. He is just such a good anti-hero.
He is pretty fun, yeah. I picked two. I picked Mugen from Samurai Champloo and Manji from Blade of the Immortal. I think those are two, obviously both samurai boys, on a mission of questionable morality, lots of death and killing. Maybe not the nicest fellows, but you kind of root for them at the same time. They are what is considered the protagonists of the story. So, yeah, I think Manji and Mugen are both peas in a pod of anti-heroism.
Some other good ones here: Captain Harlock, Saitama.
I wouldn't say that he's an anti-hero.
He doesn't have bravery and drive in the same way, but
He's not interested in it.
Maybe his motivations are not necessarily in the most purest because he just wants to fight the strongest. But I think that if somebody was in trouble, he would help them just because they're in trouble.
Lupin the Third, Scar from Fullmetal Alchemist.
I thought you were going to be Scar from The Lion King, and I'm like, I think he's just a
the
villain, my guy.
Yeah. And Alucard from Hellsing is on this list. So it's a pretty good website.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And, all right. Thanks for the mailbag. Again, if you want to leave us a mailbag, aapodcast.com/mailbag. We'll get you there, and you can do a whole lot of other stuff there besides write mailbags. So make sure you read all the different things that we have available for you. And now, it is time for the last anime of summer. There you go.
God.
Wrapping it up. The summer season was not good, all that good, and this is
So bad.
That wasn't that bad.
That was bad.
Every
Sunny
season,
Boy.
every season has a few good shows in it. It could be that we just didn't pick the best ones, but
No, we picked Sunny Boy, and I liked it. And I was the only one who liked one show of summer. That was it.
Mason, would you like to lead this review on Remake Our Life?
Oh, I would love to, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
This is available on Crunchyroll. As we said, it's a summer 2021 show. I failed the show ways back, but you, the listeners, voted it in. And now we have to do it. Now it's not just me in 3 episodes. Now it's 3 of us in 12 episodes of pain. And we're going to talk about it. So, what is Remake Our Life about? It's about 28-year-old Hashiba Kyoyo who loses his job after working at like a shady game studio. And like he's a hard worker, he's a smart guy, but like he kind of joined the industry late. He wasn't always interested in it and didn't follow up on it, so he kind of got put on this kind of crummy life path. He's trying his best, but he gets laid off, he loses his job, and he's sitting at home at his parents' house, and he's all like bummed out. He's like, man, all these other 28-year-old creators, they're all successful. These artists and singers and writers, they just probably pursued their path from college and just live their dream. And I regret
generation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I regret not, being connected to these guys and following my dreams from an early age. I would have been maybe successful like them. If only I knew these guys, maybe I'd be in a better place.
If I only
And
had
what
a
do
brain.
you know it?
Dun,
Snap
dun, dun, dun.
little pink-haired Lolly's fingers, and bam, 10 years, he's in the best, and he is not just, given a second chance at following his dreams, but he's in the exact same classroom as the Platinum Generation.
Oh my God, how did that happen?
goodness.
He's living with them.
I love wish fulfillment, and so that's what the show is about.
really?
So, maybe. So, when I was like, man, oh man, this show is a big old stinker, and why is there yogurt where the yogurt is in episode 1?
Oh, yeah,
what
that was-
were
I'll
your
tell you
guys'
why. I'll tell you
what
why,
were your
because a bunch of
expectations
nerds are
about
sitting
the
at home.
show? What did you think, Caroline, going into the show when you heard me complain about it, and then you heard the listeners past it, and then you were like, man, I have to watch this?
Based on the fact that all happened, and I'm not saying that like everything that we don't pass and the listeners do are bad, because there have been really great seasons where we had to pass or we had to fail things that we didn't necessarily feel the need to pass. It's just that based on the fact that this came out of the season where I could not find a single show that I actually really, really liked, it was, I was expecting it to not be good. And that's basically it. That was my
Surpassed
expectation.
all expectations.
I didn't really have much else other than that.
And you loved it.
We'll see.
Imagine if this was all like a big Roots and we were all like pretending to hate on it, and then we're like,
I know.
actually, no, it was great. No, I don't think we've ever led our like opinions this far forward in like the very objective part of the expectations. But Mitz, what did you think coming into the show?
Well, it seemed like the latest in a line of quote unquote re-anime where you go where some guy who fucked his life up for something bad happened goes back in time to like fix it, do it again. I don't know. I mean, that's about it. I mean, I haven't liked most of these shows with this plot synopsis. There's a whole bunch of them, and so that's pretty much what I expected. I mean, I don't know. The listeners picked it, and so when the listeners pick something, I generally think it has broad appeal, and that's kind of what I expect. And so I think I usually expect more from the listener shows than from our own sometimes, because we are capable of missing a top show here or there, and we leave it up to the listeners to fill those gaps. And so I throw caution to the wind and expect a lot from these listener pick shows, to be perfectly honest. So that's what I expected.
Okay, fair enough. That said, Caroline, would you recommend this show?
No.
No, she says.
Oh,
We
that
gotta
was the
burn-
short answer. Long answer is hell no.
Hell no.
I thought you were gonna go, no.
No. Okay. Yeah. It's just I was kind of having a hard time trying to think of good things about this show. I would say the best thing about this show is that it was not as hard to get through as the shows that we've watched in the past few weeks have been. Like, it's better than Remain. It's better than Realist Hero. And honestly, those are not high bars. It's just that, I don't know why, it's just a little bit more entertaining and a little bit less aggravating than those. But that being said, it's your bland main character who's biggest flaws are that he's just too good. He's too good. He's too helpful. It's so tragic because all of these really great qualities that somehow turn into bad things makes bad things happen in this show for everybody else but him. He keeps on getting better. He has no schooling, and yet he knows so much more than everybody else. And it's just irritating. So he's one of those. I will say that there are a couple characters that I liked maybe, but he just nerfs every single one of them. So, there are okay points in this show. There are aggravating points in this show, but I would just save you the trouble. Go watch something else that has to do with making video games and movies and all that stuff. Go watch, I don't know, Azoken or, I don't know, Shirobako or something like that. That doesn't have this Mary Sue main character that is literally the exact same guy from Realist Hero. Just do yourself a favor, and if you like it, great, but I don't really think you should be wasting your time on it.
Excellent. Good.
Very intense.
Good. Mitsugi, should people watch Remake Our Life?
No, it's just way too. As the kids would say, it's very mid. It's like
they call it the Midwest because everything about it is mid.
It's just very bland and kind of samey, and I'm not like offended by it really in any way. It's just like, I like anime a lot right now, and I watch anime probably for the rest of my life, particularly when I'm going to bed at night, because I just enjoy that at the moment at least. And when you go to breakfast in the morning, you got this whole I'm in the hotel right now, right? Because my apartment got destroyed. And they've got eggs, they've got bacon, they've got sausage. They make you an omelet. They'll make you scrambled eggs with anything you want in it. Ham, onions, whatever. They've got cereal. There's oatmeal. Stuff to put.
Expecting this to be the part of the review.
Stuff to put in your oatmeal.
I'm making me hungry.
They've got danishes, like a whole tray of danishes, And then there's a tray of white bread that you can toast. If you were to take the white bread, toast it. Mind you, I like it on a 1 or a 2. I don't want my toast too burned. I want it to be crisp, but nicely, lightly toasted. And you take a bite of that toasted white bread. You will think to yourself, this is good. I like bread, but it's very bland, and I will not really. It's not very noteworthy. That is what this anime is. You will still like it because it's anime.
Slices for you.
You'll like this white bread anime because it is anime, but you will think to yourself, this is pretty much as bland and unmemorable as it's gonna get, and that's pretty much what this anime is.
The white bread of anime.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just very, very average, in my opinion, and I'm not going to recommend an average anime to people who may never give anime a chance again. I meet some guy. He's like, oh, you like anime? I've been thinking about giving that a try. I'm not recommending an average, boring type of show to you because you'll never watch anime again. You're going to get, depending on who you are, I'm going to recommend like Parasite or, fucking Jujutsu Kaisen, but not Remake Our Life. So
there's no obvious draw to this show.
Not really. Mason, how are you feeling?
I was obviously pretty disappointed early on when I was doing my impressions on the show, and I failed it, I thought, pretty hard, but obviously not quite hard enough if people brought it back. As I continued to watch this show, some ideas and twists tried to bring me back to neutral. There were some moments where I'm like, okay, they're changing the formula. They're going to do something different with it. But at the end, I remained pretty sour on the show. It's full of drab writing, bland wish fulfillment with a savior complex, cardboard characters, all built with this very unnecessary, time travel gimmick. They could have told the story without any of that. And all the super mishandled, just bottom tier ways that they had our main character help people were just so unrewarding that they should really have just remade the show, and until they do, you shouldn't watch it. It was pretty bad. So yeah, don't watch the show. just listen to us talk about it, complain about it pretty quick, and then move on with your life, because this show is just so forgettable.
Ooh. Okay. I guess that's pretty much how it's gone for the summer shows, I think, for the most
Yep.
part.
Except Sunny Boy. Sunny Boy was so good.
All right. Well, shall we get to spoilers?
Let's
Sure.
do it.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
I really feel like the show doesn't have a lot of significant spoilers in it.
Because
Maybe a
honestly, I don't know
couple.
what the point was of this anime. I told you guys before, but after watching 12 episodes of it, I found myself thinking, what did I gain from that? What was the message of the story, if anything? And I realize some anime just don't have messages. But why did he go through all of this?
The show-
What was the outcome?
The-
To go
The show
back
is
in time
constantly
again?
saying, like, you have one life. You got to make it count. You got to put
Yeah.
in the effort and achieve your goals. And this guy gets 3 chances to do it. And what we learned is, you want to help people, but only kind of, sorta, and only kind of
Don't help too
sometimes.
much.
Yeah,
I'm like
only.
wondering, what? How do you go about that in life? Like, how do you know when you're helping too much?
So listen, Caroline, say you got a friend, okay? And she wants to be a seamstress. And you're like, man,
And it's not
that's
not
cool.
Mason.
I'm supporting you. And she's going through a tough time. She's like, man, I'm not feeling motivated. Like,
And how
would
about
you
like,
cheer
oh,
her
I
up?
have somebody who's looking for investing in businesses. How about I contact them and get you, some connections?
No. What you
That
do,
would be too
Caroline, is you travel 10 years into the future. You get the clothes that your seamstress friend would have made had she been successful, and then go back in time and say, hey, look at this. This is you're capable of this. And she's like, what? Okay, wow. I'm so impressed. Thank you. And then she ruins her life. That's what this show boils down to, where he uses the future knowledge and past knowledge to change these characters and completely ruin them, and it's the dumbest thing ever. It's
But it's
so
like-
stupid.
You even ask yourself at the very beginning, why is he even bother putting in so much effort and helping these 3 people that are going to be massive people in the future in what they want to do? Maybe not right now they're into it, but here he is trying to get them, into what they're going to do in the future. But like, that is so unnecessary. Why is he acting as if he's helping them when they are fully capable of starting up their own futures? And he puts so much effort into making it happen for them, but like, he knows that they're going to be successful in the future anyway.
Well, he wants to be with them. He wants to help out, and he is there. He's with them. I would say earnestly they are his friends, and he cares about them, and he's
Yeah.
trying to do the right thing. So it's not like he should be like, well, they're going to be fine without me, so I'm not going to leave them on the wayside. Like, I get that he's like, oh, I'm so blessed to have made friends very coincidentally with the very people I admire. Like, he's like, oh, we'll make an even better team. And I think his head's in the right place. I think it's just he's a wet noodle character in a wet noodle show.
Because the whole premise of the show was to be like, he wants to make his life better, but he spends the entire anime trying to make other people's life better. And I'm just like, and by the end of it, he doesn't get any better. He is still the same person. He's just in a better space, I guess. And
he followed his
everybody else
dream.
sucks. Everybody else got nerfed.
Well, I mean, to me, this show is basically like people have a lot of people will think to themselves like, oh, like personally, I would say to myself, if I could go back in time, I would have worked a lot harder in high school. Like I would have worked much harder. I wouldn't have got the 3.5 or whatever our GPA I had. I would have got the 4.0 GPA. I would have done the community service. I would have done this and that, and I probably would have gone to like a much better school. But the problem is that you don't think that way when you're a little kid. You're more concerned about like girls and food and like playing video games and fucking around. And so it's the people that have the more mature mindset when you're young that end up at like Ivy League schools and, but it's like, but you can't go back in time and make those changes because that's not how life is. Right. And so I think that there's a lot of people in the world that would say to themselves, like, for example, oh, I live in Japan and I work for like some black Kigyo corporation who works me until I'm going to die and my life sucks. fuck, I wish I could go back in time and like redo it and then do something that I actually cared about and enjoyed. So I think that that's really what the show is. And also there's some kind of a message there about like, chase your dreams, like fuck the money. He turns down like a what is he, like an economist or something? I can't remember exactly, but he's like, he gives up his career with like a good stable income that he doesn't like, but he doesn't like his job, for a job where they say in the anime, I think, like, oh, a lot of you will have trouble finding work after you get out of school because of XYZ. So it's like they're giving a nod to like saying fuck the steady income, go take a chance, and go be a creative or something. Which personally, I don't know. It's whatever. It all sounds well and good until you can't find a job and you end up not doing what you went to school for. But that's kind of what it's saying, I think.
I think the best thing the show did, as far as like messaging, if we're gonna give it that much credit, is that you have all these people that are going to be super successful about it. You know it, I know it. These are certified superstars in the making, but they are still going through their trials. They have their doubts. They get in ruts, and you can see like, oh, these people are the best of the best, and they're struggling. And you can say, oh, like it's not all sunshine. Like you got to dig, you got to fight for it. The girl wasn't going to be a singer, and she got told straight up, hey, like you need to, if you want to be a singer, you have to work on your singing. You have to like put in the time. And seeing that side of people are, we don't often see the building up of successful people. We're like, oh, they're so successful, I'm jealous. Like, no, you have to fight for it. And that show offered it, but it was contrasted with all these comedy scenes with like zany wackiness with slide whistle sound effects as they bump into one another and show their boobs and go on the beach and like
get yogurt dripping down your mouth and
then be told like, you're gonna be gross. A superstar, and they're like, I'm gonna be a superstar, you're my hero, smooch, and you're like, oh my goodness, let me vomit in my mouth a little bit. Just go on the nose with everything. Sad things happen, it rains, good things happen, it's sunny. Koya's feeling down in the dumps, and he literally is stumbling and rolling around in bags of trash. God,
that was hilarious. When that happened, I'm just like, what? Like, when he's just like laying in the trash.
Exactly. Episode 8, he like jumps into the future, and you're like, oh, we're gonna see how things happen, but it becomes as vapid and like laughable as everything else. He's got a kid now. LOL. He's got to say bye to the kid. LOL. Like, it's the art was fine. It was consistent. The moment he could. Oh my god, this show just offered nothing.
He had so much at the so I didn't really understand the ending, honestly. So like he has his fucking
everything.
Cute wife and his cute kid and a good job and
he just spent so much time and effort in changing a bad game into what is going to be a good game. He did all that work, all that. And he just instantaneously just rewinds time so it never even happened. What was the point?
I just didn't understand. I think the real question is like, what does happiness mean? Because, and I don't want to get like super deep about it, but I'm going to anyway. But it's like some people would say, oh, financial security is happiness. Like, oh, I can, like I have excess income. If my car gets blown up, I can just go buy another car. Like some people would say that's happiness. Some people would say, oh, I go to work every day and I don't want to gouge my eyes out, which is why you should get our extra content, by the way, from this podcast, because you will go, because you'll be less bored. AAApodcast.com/join.
Wow.
And some people would say having a gorgeous family that loves you and depends on you, and oh, by the way, your wife has like decided that she has found her passion again. That could be happiness. But he has that, and he gives them like this really tight hug, and he's like clearly loves them. He's gonna give him a tight, Daddy, you're squeezing me so tight, and then he just goes fuck off, and he just like goes back in time. I get that he like bumps into his wife again like immediately because she's there in the past too, but his kid isn't there, and they're not in a relationship. So I don't know. I didn't really understand why he bothered to go back again. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because he wanted to go back to college. Everybody loves their college days. And he's like, I just really want to go back. I want to be with them again. I'm like, my guy. Like, that's just normal.
Because he blames himself for their... Like, if someone told you, like, hey, your best friend or your partner or whatever, like, if you didn't say that thing to them, whatever, they would be like 5 times more successful. They would have their dreams. They'd be in their best career path ever. But because they met you, you know, like, they're doing fine. Like, they have you. They don't know any better, but, like, they're really not being all that you know they could be. Like, I see how you could feel a little bit guilty about, like, man, like, maybe, like, I like being with them, but my presence kind of threw their life path off axis. Like, I could see a little guilt coming from that. I get it. And he's like, I think I can go back and do it right, where I have that family, I have my own happiness, but I also have the happiness for them, my friends, because he does care about them, even if he is a Gary Stu. And it just didn't do anything interesting with that idea. It was just, I feel bad, I feel good, I feel bad, I'm going to go change it again. Like, it was so toothless in its execution.
Yeah. And another thing, I feel like I've probably have already pretty much said this, but in these words, like, everything happens through this main character, this bland main character who's so good at everything. Everything happens through him. Nothing happens not because of him. No conversation happens without him in it that leads to something else happening. And then if it does, he gets roped back into it at the end. Like, it's all about him and how everything else changes. And I feel like the best way to describe this is that all these characters, no matter who it is, will walk into the blades of a running helicopter if he says so. Like, they will literally do it based on how devoted they are to this main character.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rest my case. Like, that is the main problem of this anime for me, is that it is just so boring because everything happens because of this boring main character.
You know, I kind of have expected you to just hate this anime, Caroline, because he's basically the character of Realist Hero.
This is true, but
he's basically Jesus. He's like, I'm perfect. Everything I do is perfect. I touch this water, it turns into wine. I touch your forehead, you are now cured of all illness. I am God. I will fix all your problems. And then everybody's like, oh, yes, please. I love you, God. Thank you. I will follow you into the blades of the helicopter, or blah, 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 blah. I never make a mistake. I'm perfect. And
the main difference being, the reason why I like this better than Realist Hero is that the world is a little bit more interesting than the Realist Hero one. I mean, with that one, it's
Really?
just, you know, boring conflict between countries I don't care about. This one is more about people's dreams and trying to achieve them. It's about game development. It's about, you know, people trying to become artists and singers and all that, which it was the more entertaining part of the show, was watching them trying to film stuff and everything like that. And there were a couple characters I liked in this one that had a little bit more personality than Realist Hero. Like, what was her name? Like Kawasegawa, the red-haired girl. She was kind of interesting until the very end, when she became literally like she can't, like, she was the person that got things done. And in the future, in this new future, again, having to rely on Kyoya to fix everything for her. I'm like, you are fully capable of doing this. Why are you letting him take care of it?
He's like, I knew your thing would fail, so I developed my own like thing in the background to work perfectly with your thing, and just the financials work, so believe it. And it just works. Yeah. It was so stupid.
But I mean, I'm not really. But like, so first of all, the ironic thing is that game development fucking sucks. Like, I'm not in game development, but you hear about game developers just abusing the shit out of their employees every fucking year. Like, Electronic Arts was like one of the worst employers to work for, like 5 years in a row when I was in college. Like, do not work for Electronic Arts. Do not work for Take-Two Interactive. Do not work for Activision. Like, these companies will abuse the shit out of you. They will suck you dry. And so he's like, I'm going to give up my job, my desk job, go back in time, do my passion, making games. Oh, but now they're just going to, like, bleed me to death. I'm going to work, like, 60 hours, like, a day and make jack shit for money. So it's just, I don't know. But, like, also, the other point would be, like, so I find that all a little ironic. Like, yeah, you might be chasing your passion, but, like, they're still going to suck the life out of you until you don't like it anymore. And then the other thing is that, like, I mean, is this world interesting? Because I at least thought the fantasy elements in the other anime were at least fantasy elements.
I'm not saying that the world is interesting.
Oh,
it's
there's
just
monsters?
Monsters,
this one I care
like,
about more.
Different foods. Like, I don't know.
I just care about this one more. Even if it's just boring real world, I care about this boring real world better than the boring fake world.
Well, you are perfectly entitled to that. I just, I don't know. I didn't find anything about this particular world to be all that interesting other than the fact that he time jumps, which in and of itself is a cliche. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the anime's fine. Well, how many different anime references were there in this? Because obviously the Haruhi Suzumiya was a huge reference. There was another really obvious one, but I thought was also music-based earlier in the show. It was a theme song to an anime, and I knew it right away.
I might have missed it. It was like a Claris, maybe. Or like a Lisa or something.
I might look this up.
Yeah, there was a lot of little like game and anime references in this show. My favorite reference was when Aki, the illustrator, was like, "Oh, I want to do the shot at the climax of the scene where I draw like the guy's hand really clenched up to show that he's angry." And all I could think about was the meme from Arthur, where Arthur is like holding his hand in a fist. Like, oh, I love that meme. Great reference. Besides that, the show was Garbo.
Yeah. Although I love the solution they came up. Okay, so we got the person that's going to be eventually a very big writer or whatever, but he's having issues because he can't afford school. And he has to work so much, and he's basically skipping classes because he has to work so much in order to pay for the school that he's trying to go to, which is, a real problem. I kind of thought that was interesting that they actually acknowledge the fact that that's an issue. But the solution that Kyoya comes up with is to create their own game, which you have to put in so much time, so much effort, so much money, of which they have none of. They have no time, they have no effort, they have no money because this guy is working basically all the time. So tell me how this actually worked out for them, that they were able to develop their own game before they have to pay tuition for school when he has to work so often. I don't know how they did it. I really don't.
Spoilers, I'm married, I'm engaged to the super rich girl who just provides food and like support and whatever. Like, okay, the game's over with, Sayuri, you can leave now, bye. Okay.
The moment that, when he said that, like, and actually, I'm gonna be leaving school after all, after they did all this work to make their own game, and for him, this is all because of him needing money to stay in school, and he's like, I'm not gonna stay in after all, and I'm like, what was, that was so frustrating.
I don't know, I feel like my take is, it's, I'm just gonna look this up. What percentage of people hate their jobs? Google finished it for me.
I mean, it's what he wants. Like, I'm not going to begrudge someone for choosing a difficult job path and being like, oh, well, you shouldn't have chosen this because it's not happiness.
Well, I mean, according to this, according to squarestaffedhr.com, 85% of people hate their jobs as of the end of 2019. So that's awfully high. So it's like, and that's like all industries. So basically, like, no matter where you work, no matter what you do, unless you just have that kind of personality, you're going to hate your job. Probably. But, like, my take is, like, I would honestly take the financial security and then just, you live through your hobbies and stuff. Like, it's, if you have financial security, you can go buy that PS5 to support your gaming hobby. And you work, and so you can go home and you can fucking enjoy your life at home. And then while you're at work, you do things at work to make your life more bearable. Maybe you listen to podcasts, or whatever. If you work from home, maybe you go have breakfast from a diner and eat breakfast once a week, which is what I do. It's like whatever, but this like chasing the dream of like a perfect like work, like perfect job and fixing people's lives, like it just doesn't really make sense to me. Like I don't really think it's really worth exploring all that much. The people are lazy. They always think that they should make more money than they do. And no one's happy because you'd rather do the things you want to do, and you don't want to be at a fucking desk or doing something out, like, even if it's not at a desk, you'd rather be at home like watching anime. It's just the bottom line. But but no one makes money watching anime unless you're like, one of 15 people that like has a YouTube channel, and that's pretty much it. So it's just, I don't know, it's almost not worth exploring in my opinion, but I don't know. That's my philosophical opinion.
I guess I never perceived this show to be about finding the perfect job. So I guess
I don't know what the fuck it's about.
it's about making friends and being a creative and not messing up their lives while you mess up a show. I don't know. I'm ready to score it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I'll go first. This show was white toast. It was not very good. I didn't hate it. Like, it was nowhere near as painful as Aquatrope was. Wink,
Aquatope.
Wink, wink. And I did that on purpose. And
I know.
And but like, I don't know. I mean, I really didn't enjoy the show very much. I thought it was boring, but thankfully short. And so I will give it 2.5. Why are you so fucking arrogant in the workplace out of 5? That guy would be fucking
Emperor Palpatine.
That guy would be fucking fired if he like spent all of a department's budget without getting multiple approvals. Like, end of story. So
Yeah.
I don't know how he pulls that shit off, but I guess his shit doesn't smell either.
Nice. Caroline, were you gonna say something else before we did scores?
No, I think I've pretty much said it all several times
Okay.
over. And with that, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the show. It is ever so slightly better than the worst that this season had to offer, which is not really saying much, at least in my opinion. Everybody else is different, but with this, I think I would just have to give it 2. There is no way we can do nothings out of 5, because they literally say that like 3 or 4 times in the show. There's no way we can't do nothing to
I'm gonna
hype
fix it.
themselves up. No, because that's in the last couple episodes when that game president says we can't do anything, or like there's nothing we can do now, and then Kyoya was like triggered by that. He was like, "There's
dare you have it
never
quitting."
not something we can do."
I don't want to ever hear you say no. I can't.
So
Sounds like a football
yeah.
coach or some shit.
Yeah.
It's a just barely. It's below average, but just barely anything. So 2. I'll give it a 2.
Yeah, I have definitely like held back like how much the show is just not good. So I'm just gonna score it. What was my favorite quote? Oh, it was Aki when she's like at the very end when she's like returning to her passion of like, I think I want to draw again. I want to draw girls. So we're gonna go 1.5.
Oh my God, I
want to
remember
draw
that.
girls out of 5.
God.
Was anybody else very annoyed by the fact that this Aki girl sounded like a literal baby during the 10 years ago part?
Yes,
She
I was
sounded like a
annoyed. I
child.
thought her voice was absolutely just. I wanted to
It's
rip her
when-
apart.
It's when they vocalize the little things, just like breathing. She's like,
Yeah, I actually think I talked about that in my impression. Like
that was not a good thing for
Aoi
me to do, but don't.
No, Aoi Koga was like a really good like voice actress who was doing a bunch of great stuff. I was like, because she did like Kaguya from obviously Kaguya-sama. She was
Yeah.
Ange and Princess Principal. Like she was just nailing a bunch of roles, and I'm like, oh, I'm excited to see her in this role. And immediately I was like, oh no, I'm not a fan of this. So not that she did a bad job, but just like that's how the character was written, and I didn't like the character, so that's how it be.
I
And
will
that-
give her this. She did go out for the guy that she liked. She like I like you and kissed him. And I'm like, thank God we just got kicked right into the point.
Yeah, I think we can call it that. So we have a 2.5,
Yeah.
a 2, and a 1.5, leaving it to be, surprise, surprise, another 2 for another
Yeah.
summer show.
It's because these summer shows were just fucking
Not
just
good.
amazingly average for the most part, you know?
Yeah.
Listeners, there's probably going to be a part of the Anime Oscars that says, hey, what was your favorite season
It's
in
not going to be
2021?
summer.
And I'm very curious who's out here just standing like, nah, you guys are tripping. Summer is full of bangers.
Honestly,
Please let me know.
Spring was probably the best one.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, we haven't really gotten much into fall shows yet, but I would say that spring was definitely a good season.
Yeah.
Winter has
I
the
mean-
highest average between us
Oh
so
yeah.
far.
Well,
Yep.
I wasn't really around for much for winter, I guess. But I can't remember.
I mean, you were there
actually.
for all but 2 shows.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we'll talk about it later. We did it. It's over.
Yay!
We have ended our life.
next week we will start doing our impressions for winter 2022. And
Yay!
there's some good shows. So.
2022. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
it's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Well, 2021 sucked, so pretty much I'm ready for the next year to start. Oh my god.
Well, if you want,
Will this be the year we get rid of COVID? Will this be the year?
I doubt, but
I doubt it too. All right.
well, if you want to keep up to date with everything that we are up to, make sure to follow us on Twitter at AAA Podcast. You can follow Mason at Macy Pacey, and if you want to follow Mitsuki for some reason, even though he no longer posts, you can follow him at Pope Mitsuki.
Yeah.
We are also on Facebook. We are also on Discord, and there's a lot of fun things to do in our Discord. There's discussions. There's different channels to join. We have our anime club. If you want to join us, we're watching Lupin. Is it part 1, I guess?
Lupin the Third,
Lupin?
part 1 from the
Lupin the Third.
1970s. So if you want to be like
Jeez.
Caroline and a mad wizard of remembering every show ever,
I wouldn't say it's because of
Join
that.
Anime Club.
But... and what date are we getting together for that? It was like the 26th,
26th.
I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll be together the 26th, 10 p.m. EST. Just make sure you go to our Discord for information all about that. And we're also on TikTok as well.
And there's an anime shakeup coming to the Anime Club. It'll be a hot new club in the future. So
yes, we're just mixing up format.
Floor. Yeah, pretty much. But it'll be fun.
That'll be coming up soon. And thanks for joining us. We will be back here next week, 5 p.m. EST on Twitch, so you can watch us live. And thank you so much for joining the AAA podcast. We will see you later.
Bye-bye,
good one,
guys.
folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.